Welcome to the Big Picture Retirement Show, where you'll learn what it really takes to have a successful retirement. With over 20 years of experience, your host, Rick Rivera of Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has seen it all and is here to help you achieve your retirement dreams. This is the Big Picture Retirement Show.
Welcome into the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. Rick is a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has over 20 years experience in the financial industry, and we talk retirement. Do you have a plan? Well, at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, it's called the Big Picture Blueprint, which gives you direction and clarity into your road to retirement. Income, investment, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning, Social Security, Medicare, it's all in there. But everybody's situation is unique, and that's how Rick and the team look at it. How can they help you get clarity and then figure out where you are? Can I retire? Well, when can I retire? Do I have enough? All those kind of questions. If you'd like to learn more, you can always give them a call. There's no cost for this. It's 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. We'll give you that number throughout the program. And you can always go to the website to learn more. A lot of great information there as well. Safeguardinvestment.com. Safeguardinvestment.com. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Real good, Mark. Thank you. How you doing?
Doing well. You know, when you think about planning for retirement, one thing that's kind of at the back of our minds, probably to a degree for a lot of us, is the fact that we've got to figure out what we're going to do when we're not here anymore. How are we going to leave things? And you think about, I think about Rick all the time. I was an athlete. My dad was a college coach. And you think about, I remember being in high school, my dad telling me, hey, you should be doing this or that. And I'm like, well, what do you know? You're just a college coach. I know more than you know. And it's kind of the insight we get from our elders, if you will. Even our parents or our grandparents. And sometimes it's easier to listen to the grandparents than your parents, I suppose. Did you ever have anybody, aunt, uncle, grandparent, parent, that gave you some insightful insight into whatever to help you?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, of course. You know, my parents all the time. And then, of course, whether it be business associates, people from all different walks of life. And the question is whether or not you listen, Sometimes
Exactly.
I learn things the hard way. Sometimes, and the interesting thing is even, when it comes to kids, my son, I'd give him advice. And the funny thing is, a buddy of mine would give him the same advice, and all of a sudden a light bulb goes off. I tell him the same thing 20 times. He doesn't listen. And then all of a sudden somebody else tells him the same thing. And now it's like, they came up with something brand new. So yeah, no, all the time. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it is interesting how that happens. Well, you think about it, though. Part of the big picture blueprint that Rick and the team at Safeguard can put together for you, income, investment, taxes, healthcare, but it's also legacy and estate planning. So how do you and your team at Safeguard, Rick, help people plan, maybe their wishes, their last wishes, their legacies in a retirement plan? We certainly don't want it to be the end, but we do have to plan for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those topics that a lot of people tend to want to kind of procrastinate on or put off later because they really don't want to talk about it. And especially generally with the kids, they don't want to hear mom and dad talking about this kind of stuff. But it's one of those scenarios where most of our clients are, they'll say, hey, Rick, Reed, Eddie, listen, at the end of the day, if something, God forbid, does happen to us, we don't want to be tied up in probate. We don't want the kids having a hard time. We want to make it as easy for them as possible. And, it's a scenario where a lot of clients, they're not looking to necessarily, do without in order to leave a bunch of money behind. So it's just really more about doing things efficient as possible. And sometimes they learn from their own lessons. Sometimes they come into us and they want to tackle the problem because maybe they had to help settle their mom or dad's estate, their family members' estates, and they saw what they had to go through. And they're like, hey, listen, I don't want my kids to go through that. So on a regular basis, we're consistently advising and helping our clients with, their estate planning documents, whether it be trust, wills, power of attorneys, combination of all those different documents. And of course, it's going to be based upon their, specific objectives. And then if you have clients that do have special needs scenarios, we have to address that as well.
And I've always said, if you love your family, you will do this type of planning. If you hate them, you will do nothing because you're going to leave them a total mess, total headache. I think people don't really understand all that goes into it because we all hear about, well, there's wills, there's trust, there's powers of attorney for healthcare, for finance, all those moving parts, a living will, transfer on death. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can put in place, but a lot of people don't even, they might think about it, but as we typically do, we procrastinate. Well, I'll get to that. I will get to that.
Yeah.
People know how much is involved in this planning. I mean, it's great to have a team like you, by their side at Safeguard, you and Eddie and Reed and the team to help guide us because we don't really know what to do anyway. I would think having some guidance is really important.
No, yeah, and you know what? They a lot of people really don't. They just know that hey, whether it is they just want to do something to make sure that the family members are going to be okay, but they really don't realize what all is involved until they actually start doing the planning process. Because again, the big question is, well, hey, do I need a will or do I need a trust or maybe both? What are these power of attorney things? Power of attorney for healthcare, power of attorney for asset management. Those kind of documents do I need? So there's all these things that come into play when it comes to doing a proper estate plan to make sure all the bases are covered. And sometimes when we meet people for the first time, they don't realize that the different documents are designed to do different things. So power of attorneys for asset management, power of attorney for healthcare is something that actually protects the couple while they're alive, where the trusts and the wills are more for, handles the estate after they're gone. And then sometimes people may even ask me, well, Rick, why do I need a power of attorney? I mean, we're jointly on everything, so the only way a power of attorney would come into play is if something happened to both of us at the same time. And what's the odds of that? But what a lot of people don't realize, and Mark, I know you're a golfer, if, God forbid, you're playing golf and somebody forgets to yell 4, and now you're incapacitated, you're in the hospital. And let's say, the spouse now needs $5,000 out of the husband's IRA or 401k or SEP or KIA or TSP. They don't have access to those funds because they don't own it jointly with their spouse. So now they call up the broker and say, hey, listen, I need $5,000 out of my husband's account. They can't access it. The broker's going to say, listen, do you have a power of attorney? And unfortunately, the next common question back to the broker is, well, what are you talking about? I'm primary beneficiary on this thing. Why can't I access it? And the broker has to tell them, well, listen, because your husband didn't die. While he's alive, you need a power of attorney. And then if, God forbid, you have real estate transaction going on and properties are in escrow and documents need to be signed, again, you need power of attorney. And these are just documents for while you're alive and having a healthcare power of attorney, not to mention the additional documents needed for when you both are gone to make life easier for the kids. So this is things that we quarterback for the clients and make it a little bit easier for them when it comes to the estate planning process.
There's a lot of I's that need to be dotted and T's that need to be crossed in this area. Wills, trust, how do you know what you need? Do I need a transfer on death? What do I specifically need? And that's where the team at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group can walk you through this, because everybody's situation is unique. There are some that they just need a will and they're good to go. Others that need maybe a more in-depth and more convoluted trust, right? Everybody's situation is unique. Rick and the team are here to help guide you. 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. Again, there's no cost for this. It's an opportunity for you to find out more about your specific situation. 800-700-1980. Do you remember this?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take F-T-C-B.
So you know who that is, Rick? You got that? Aretha Franklin. Well,
Yeah.
why would I play that now? Well, here's the deal. Aretha Franklin, we know what an incredible voice she had. What an incredible singer. I mean, it was incredible. A little respect. Find out what it means to me, right? Aretha Franklin did not really respect her estate plan. So she had, I think, 3 boys is what it was. But when she passed away in 2018, the family had been squabbling for years now over her estate since that time. And they just went to court recently to finally get this all figured out. It was an estimated $17 million estate that Aretha Franklin had. Well, what they did was they found a will, handwritten will, like on the kitchen counter. They found a handwritten will in the sofa, in between the cushions. They ended up with 3 different handwritten wills. And they were all a little bit different who was in charge. One of them had one son in charge. Another one had the next son in charge. And so they ended up fighting over this. And then after a convoluted squabble, they finally came together to get it all figured out. That's part of this. And you think, wow, the kids are going to be fine. They get along great. They're going to be fine when this happens, when we pass away. But that's not always how it plays out, is it?
Oh my gosh. I can give you countless stories, Mark, story after story after story, where, clients have said, oh, my kids will never fight. They get along and this and that and the other. And then God forbid something happens. You'd be surprised the issues that can come up. I think it's because emotions are running high. Yeah. So I could give you countless stories of scenarios where, kids are fighting, they're bickering, and it may not be necessarily over specific items or assets. It could be, having to do with healthcare decisions or just, how to handle the bills and just a variety of different scenarios. And this is where, by seeing, coming to us, we've seen all these different scenarios. So now we can say, hey, listen, here's some things you may want to implement to kind of minimize the chances of issues coming up. And we can share how we do things and how we set up these estate planning documents for the clients in order to minimize the chances of the kids, bickering or fighting over a variety of different scenarios.
And that's really where the team at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group could come in and help walk you through this. Everybody's situation is unique. Maybe you don't have any kids at all. So is it about leaving certain aspects of your life to a charity? Everybody's got different, I think, hopes and dreams for how they're going to leave things and the way the perfect scenario would play out. But if you really don't spell it out, then it's not necessarily going to happen. My mom is going to be 87 here pretty soon. She's got every little knickknack that she's got has a grandkid's name on the bottom of it. And she'll ask me, hey, do you want that? And I'm like, you're not going anywhere for a while. And it's just kind of weird to have your parents and your mom doing that. But that is her doing really her due diligence and making sure that everything's going to go as smoothly as it possibly can when she's no longer here. If you would like to sit down with Rick and the team at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, talk about this super important matter, 800-700-1980. The challenge is we don't know when our end will happen. We don't know. Could be tomorrow, could be 50 years from now. We just don't know. So the idea is you have to do pre-planning. You can't wait until you get sick and go, man, I need a health care plan. Well, that's not going to work. Life insurance is the older you get, the more expensive it gets. So there's just so many moving parts here. If you'd like to sit down with Rick and the team and talk about these type of subjects, you want to just find out when you can retire. Do you have enough? Can I retire? Well, when can I retire? Will my money last? 800-700-1980. Rick and the team are here to help you in your specific situation. 800-700-1980. Again, it's complimentary, no cost to you. 800-700-1980. Back with more of the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera of Safeguard Investment Advisory Group right after this.
You're listening to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. For more information about Rick and the Safeguard Investment Advisory Group team, go to safeguardinvestment.com. While you're there, you can also download educational retirement guides and sign up for an upcoming seminar. That's safeguardinvestment.com. Now, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. Rick, a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, along with Reed Abedin and Eddie Soda. You can always go to the website to learn more, safeguardinvestment.com, safeguardinvestment.com. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. You can always call. There's no cost to chat with the team, 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. We were just talking about Aretha Franklin that passed away she had 3 handwritten wills, and the family didn't know which was which. One had one son in charge, one had another son in charge. Big squabble. Prince passed away with $200 million, no estate plan. I mean, you could go on and on with celebrities that didn't have. Walt Disney didn't even have all this stuff planned out. During the break we were talking about, you said, yeah, I got plenty of stories. Can you give us one here as we get started the second half?
Yeah, you know what, Mark, one that actually I'm thinking of at the moment that just kind of at the tip of my mind is some years ago, Reed and I, we had a client that had a $3 million estate. And when he had passed away, he had 3 daughters. And the daughters, they split up the money, $1 million each, no bickering, no fighting. Everything was good. Mark, this guy had a footstool that if you saw this thing, you wouldn't pay $5 for this thing at a garage sale. That's what the girls fought over. It had sentimental value.
Yeah.
Things were said that probably shouldn't have been said. And that's the craziest thing about this kind of stuff is that we'll see them fight over the craziest things. And what was not important to the kids while mom and dad were alive, all of a sudden when they pass away, becomes very important. It could be something as simple as, maybe dad was a woodworker. Nobody really thought about it. But then once dad passes away, all of a sudden somebody wants his tools or his woodworking equipment because it has sentimental value. Maybe mom used to write poetry at night and the kids never even thought about it. But now all of a sudden, mom passes away. Now they're fighting over who gets her diaries or who gets the poetry book or this or that or the other. So you'd be surprised at, story after story that I can give you where, a lot of times it's not about the actual cash dollars. It's about sentimental items. And we've actually set up a sheet in our client's trust where they can actually gift specific items to different individuals. And there's a variety of other things that we do too to kind of help our clients along based upon our experience and what we've seen clients go through to help mitigate some of these things. But yeah, I mean, we see stuff like this all the time. You know, they don't fight over the $3 million. They fight over the footstool.
I know. But I get it. It's sentimental value. I mean, it's something, hey, this was mom's favorite hairbrush. I want it.
Yeah.
Well, sister, you've got $1 million of mom's. I'll take 50,000 and you can have it.
Right.
Negotiate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of moving parts here. The crazy part too that we're seeing more and more of, Mickey Rooney. I think people certainly in California know Mickey Rooney, the great little actor, Stan Lee, the Marvel guy, and Zsa Zsa Gabor. That was what? Green Acres, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah.
And so you go, okay, well, we know all those people. What do they have in common? Well, they were all victims of elder abuse. And according to the World Health Organization, the global population of people aged 60 years and older could more than double. In 2015, there were about 900 million people 60 years of age and older. By the year 2050, they're expecting that there will be 2 billion people at the age of 60 and older. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. But listen to this stat, Rick. In almost 60% of elder abuse and neglect incidents, the perpetrator is a family member. 2/3 of them are adult children and spouses. Why? Why? What do we do?
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. And because, you know, they're so trusting. You know, I had a client one time, this is a while back, and the grandson was living at home, didn't have a job. Of course, who knows what he was saying to the grandmother, kept giving him money. I don't know if he was on drugs or whatever, but, unfortunately, sometimes the parents, the grandparents don't know how to say no, maybe because of they're so close to the kids and, people take advantage. Let's face it. People just take advantage. And I've seen people been taken advantage of. That's where sometimes if you feel that you're weak or you can't say no, you have to have somebody in the middle that can help you or advise you.
Have you ever had to do that?
Yes, I had to do that with clients. I had scenarios where clients were actually just devastating their savings. At some point, they were like, "Listen, Rick, I need help. I can't tell my son no. I can't tell my daughter no." And so what we had done is we set it up to where that whenever the son or daughter or grandson, whatever it was that was going to ask them for money, they used me as a scapegoat. They were like, "Hey, listen, you know what? Rick Rivera's in charge. He handles everything for me. So if I can afford it, he'll tell you, just give him a call and he'll let you know what can be done or can't be done." So they kind of use me as a scapegoat, or maybe they use another family member. They'll say, "Hey, you know what? This person's kind of in charge of the finances now. So if you need anything, just give them a call and they can help you with whatever you need." So you're kind of make somebody else the bad guy if you're not strong enough to do it yourself. And then, of course, besides the family members, unfortunately, not only got to worry about family members, but outside scenarios. There's scam artists out there that are now calling people. I'm sure many of the listeners on the phone have got those calls or those texts of somebody calling you up saying, "Hey, your Social Security number has been compromised. We need you to, send us some money to so we can get your Social Security number back," or whatever. I mean, there's every kind of scam you can think of is going on right now. You even have to be careful what links you click on your email or what links you click on your text, because when you click on a link that you're not sure of where it's coming from, once you click on that link, it can send some sort of program. I forget the term for it, but it sends something into your phone or to your computer that can gather all your data. So unfortunately, I hate to say it, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, it's really amazing, I think. And it's not us older folks doing it. Us over 60 don't really know how to do all of that. And typically it's not even in our country. It's somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that they do all this stuff. Because I get that text or that email all the time. "Hey, on your property," and it'll have my address on there. "Hey, we've got some great opportunities for you. Just click here." Well, I don't ever click. I just delete it. Same thing about all those other things. "Hey, your package is here. We're having problems delivering it to you, so give us a call." And then you've heard the ones where, "Hey, is this Rick Rivera?" "Yes." Don't ever say yes, I've heard, when you get that kind of a question, because they use that. They record it. I don't know. It's crazy. There's so many moving parts. This is where a team at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, think about it. It's right there in the name, Safeguard. Safeguard your stuff by having people that can help guide you through this retirement with this new technology world that we live in and AI all around the corner. A lot of moving pieces. 800-700-1980 is the number. Again, no cost for you to chat with the team. 800-700-1980. You know, there's a lot of challenges, I think, at the end of the day. Alzheimer's, dementia. That's why people can't put this stuff off, right?
No, absolutely. Once you get, Alzheimer's, dementia, anything like that, and you haven't done these documents that we're talking about, and just when you actually need a family member, somebody that you trust to be able to come in, to be able to handle your financial affairs, pay the bills, and making sure that everything, that can handle your healthcare decisions. Now that you have dementia or Alzheimer's, you can't do those documents. So now they're going to have to go to the court and get a conservatorship or guardianship on you, which is now going to be more of a headache in order to be able to step in and take control and handle things for you. So it's so important that you get this done ahead of time and not procrastinate. And it's so easily attainable to get these documents. You can get them in the supply stores. You can get them on the internet. You can even come to our office. We'll help you. And it's so easy to get them, and it'll save you a lot of headaches down the road.
And that's really the key. I mean, if you love your family, do this type of planning. And you don't have to have $5 million or $10 million. What you have is important to your family, right? There might be the footstool that's worth $5 at a garage sale, but one of the kids really wants it. Think about that kind of stuff. This is really important. Rick and the team at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group are certainly here to help you with that aspect, right? The legacy and estate planning. But they're also going to help you come up with your retirement plan if you'd like that as well. Income, investment, taxes, health care, Social Security, Medicare decisions. There's a lot of moving pieces here. But Rick and the team have been doing this for over 20 years. They are here to help you, and everybody's situation is unique. Again, all you have to do is give them a call. There's no cost. 800-700-1980. I think it's going to be the most important phone call you make today. I think it's a great opportunity for you to get some clarity into your retirement picture. 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. Rick, as always, enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have a great week. We'll do it again next week.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark.
Firm offers insurance services. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC is a registered investment advisory firm. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC.